Hey, Houston fans, I am so happy.
T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1.
Are you ready? I was born for this. Look, every Sunday, whenever we play, I get that text. Are you ready?
Texas!
The pitch. And Altuve hits it in the air pretty deep to left. Carter is back at the wall, leaves, and it is gone! It's gone! How do you like that?
One game at a time.
Green still with it. Gets it back, lets it fly, and got it!
Win on two, win on two, 1-2.
What is good, H-Town? And on today's rundown, I have 2 free agent targets as well as 2 trade targets that the Houston Texans must kick the tires on.
You know what they say, go big or go home.
As well as a sleeper in this draft that the Houston Texans may be serious about bringing in, H-Town. So get your listening ears ready, strap up your boots, and let's go. Welcome back, H-Town. Welcome back. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to spend a few minutes with the Dreadhead host here on Everything H-Town Sports Debate Show. And like always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, hit that notification bell, hit your boy up with comments. I always try to respond to everybody, whether it's a crazy comment or whether it's a legit comment. Your boy is going to respond because I'm the man of the people. And I'm here to serve Texans fans and anybody who just want to be entertained by your boy. But on to the first topic and on to the subject of this video. And I'm here to talk about the Houston Texans have been creating a large sum of available cap space after they'd already signed some major players in free agency. So now they have around $31 million in cap space, man. And that's from restructuring Titus Howard and Shaq Mason's contract. So these guys just recently signed deals, and now Nick Caserio is restructuring these guys' contracts, trying to open up more cap space for what? I don't know. Somebody tell me. He's not doing it for no reason. It's for an extension. It's for a trade. It's making space for someone, something, or multiple players. So Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans have something up their sleeve. But what we all trying to find out is what. And what I think, I have a couple free agents that I believe, well, one free agent running back, one free agent cornerback, a draft sleeper that a lot of people may be sleeping on, as well as 2 trade possibilities that the Houston Texans should be looking into. So that's what I have on today's table. That's what we have on our plate. And the first thing I'm about to chop up with you guys is 2 free agent wide receivers that I believe the Houston Texans should take a serious look at trading for. These 2 guys we will have to trade because they under contracts with their teams, but the Houston Texans have created cap space. They tried to trade for Keenan Allen. We do need a veteran presence. D'Amico Ryans even spoke about it. A guy that's going to get you your third down, that's going to help move the chain, that's going to seem to be open every time C.J. Stroud looks down the field. It's going to be a major piece to add with Dalton Schultz, to add with Nico Collins, to add with Tank Dell. This guy will help this offense open up that much more better. And also Joe Mixon. So we have some players, but adding a guy like these guys that I'm about to suggest the Houston Texans should look into, man. And a lot of people, it's on the table around the NFL. A lot of people think that both of these guys could be available, and also that both of these guys would fit the trajectory of what the Houston Texans are trying to do. So the first guy I have in mind is Chris Godwin. Okay, he's playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans just signed his new deal, his new big deal. They just signed their quarterback. So it's a lot of money that they just spent, that's not available for Chris Godwin. Right now, I know he's expensive. He's on a $27.5 million deal, but he's in the last deal of his contract. You can probably maneuver some of that money. Tampa Bay can probably take some of that money, probably be liable for some of that money or some of that cap hit. But Chris Godwin is a hell of a receiver. He can work the slot. He can work the outside. He could be a great complementary piece to Nico Collins and Tank Dell. His last season stats was 83 receptions, 1,024 yards, 2 touchdowns, and average catch per yard was 12.3. And that's Chris Godwin, and he's 28 years old. He's still fairly young. He still has some gas in the tank. Chris Godwin is a guy that I think the Houston Texans should take a serious look at. I'm pretty sure Tampa Bay they definitely wouldn't say no. They will listen to the offer. They will see what's up because they will need the cap space. Since they just signed Mike Evans and their quarterback to this big deal, they probably need the room, and they probably want to, negotiate with the Texans or whoever trying to look into Chris Godwin. The other guy that I think that the Houston Texans should be interested in trading for, and I know he may be a little bit of a headache, but the guy is just a baller. He's a flat-out baller. He's going to come here with a coach and a system and a culture where he just got to get in where he fit in, put his head down, work, swarm mentality, offensively and defensively. But that's Stephon Diggs. I like what Stephon Diggs did last season. Stephon Diggs, his season stats for last season was 107 receptions, 1,183 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 11.1 yards per catch. That's his average, yards per catch average. He had 6 more touchdowns than Godwin and only 159 more yards than Godwin, and he's 30 years old, so he's 2 years older. So Chris Godwin is 28, Stephon Diggs is 30. Diggs is a baller, a primetime player, 8 touchdowns. You add that 8 touchdowns to Nico Collins and Tank Dell and that speed and that route running ability. Oh my God, it could be it can have defensive coordinators. Can't sleep, man. Those dudes gonna have nightmares. And then you compare these guys and put these guys with our offensive coordinator, Bobby Sloyd. Oh my God, it could be a nightmare. Joe Mixon, it's a lot on the table. You could be adding the offensive line being more healthy. I could get excited about that. Either Chris Godwin or I can get excited about Stephon Diggs. Even though the guy is a little nutcase, the guy is still a good player, and he's going to bring a whole lot to this team. But those are 2 guys that I believe the Houston Texans, ear to the streets, man. They listening. Both of those guys, I believe the teams are kind of like dangling them around as trade bait, trying to see what team bites. And the Houston Texans have been clearing cap space. Nick Caserio is up to something, man. And he, like I stated earlier, he tried to trade for Keenan Allen, which is a baller as well. And he was on the last year of his deal. He was probably going to get a tiny extension, but both of ththese guys on the last year of their deals, they might get a extension, but it can't be nothing that's going to break the bank and that's going to cause it's going to cause a problem for ringing up C.J. Stroud a couple years down the road, or ringing up Derek Stingley coming up soon. So these guys may get an additional 1 to 2 years on the deal, and they may sweeten the pot for these guys. I'm not really sure. May knock down the cap hit that they have this season, and probably give them upfront load their contracts into a 2-year contract, just like they did to Neil Hunter. So I'm not really sure what Nick Caserio is up to, him and D'Amico Ryans, but I'm pretty sure it seemed like they operating with a plan, they operating with intent, and they operating like a team that's trying to compete for a Super Bowl or an AFC championship or to win their division. They look like they serious and they trying to compete, and they trying to keep these Houston Texans teams relevant for this season and years to come. And I'm loving what's going on. Also, I have a running back, because I believe we have to add another running back. I like what Dameon Pierce did, but being a 4th rounder, maybe, man, it was lightning in the bottle his first season, and maybe he just might be a special teamer or something like that. So the Houston Texans have to add depth in their running back room. And the guy that I like, I know he has what can I say? Health problems sometimes. The guy, he seems to be what's the word that I'm looking for? He has durability questions. Excuse me, y'all. And I like this running back. I'm looking at my notes, man. And it's running back J.K. Dobbins, man. J.K. Dobbins, he ran for the Baltimore Ravens. When the guy is healthy, the guy is a beast. Here he's going to be a 1-2 punch with Joe Mixon. He can spell Joe Mixon because Joe Mixon can be a 3-down running back. But if you want to keep him fresh at the end of the season, maybe kick the tires on the J.K. Dobbins and maybe another 4th rounder, a 3rd rounder, and let that guy compete with Dameon Pierce. But I like the prospects of bringing in J.K. Dobbins as well as cornerback Xavier Howard. Xavier Howard is from Houston. He already spoke, like he was on this podcast, and he already stated that he would take less money. He done made his bag, so he's looking for a team that's going to compete for a championship. And what team could be better than his hometown team in the Houston Texans? So I think Nick Caserio should look at that, take a look at that, call his agent up, man. Leave no stone unturned. Xavier Howard could be a possibility because we bringing in a lot of these guys who were first round picks, top of the draft type guys, but they've been to multiple teams and they haven't been able to stick with a team or haven't been able to tap into that untapped potential. Another sleeper that I have that we could possibly be bringing in via the draft. I don't know what round. Maybe he may be a day 2, day 3 type guy, possibly a day 3 guy, day 2 guy, but the guy is a talented guy. He's being slept on. He's going to a school that's more predominantly, or they focus more on education. And I like that, baby. But that is Luke McCaffrey, which is the brother of Christian McCaffrey. Luke McCaffrey, man. I understand. Everybody like, who? I haven't heard of him. Well, he went to Rice University. The guy just seems to get open like a Wes Welker type of guy. The guy gets open, and his 40 time was a 4.46. The kid can run just like his brother. He's shifty, have great hands. His dad, they have good genes. They have good genetics, baby. It runs in the family. His dad was a baller. His brother is a baller. And I believe this guy can get into the right system and become a baller as well. And also, he visited the Houston Texans already. He's a sleeper, man. And I know Nick Caserio and these scouts and Scout Lifford, good hair, whatever the guy, all these scouts, these Patriot scouts, and all these guys that Nick Caserio has on his team, those guys have been watching this guy all season long, and all he does is get open. I have a few highlights for this guy. I should have some playing in the background as we speak right now. But you guys tell me what you think about Luke McCaffrey, which is the brother of Christian McCaffrey. The guy is a sleeper wide receiver. And Nick may be looking to do something like that because he has the tendency to hit on mid-round picks. Nico Collins, 3rd round pick. Tank Dell, 3rd round pick. Davis Mills, 3rd round pick. He was a hit for what it was at that moment, but Davis Mills was a 3rd round pick. Christian Harris is a 3rd round pick. So Nick Caserio, even Dameon Pierce, for what he brought in his rookie season, was a 4th round pick. So he tend to hit on mid to late round picks, and that's the sweet spot for Nick Caserio. Even Jalen Petrie was a 2nd round pick. He balled out his rookie season. He struggled a little bit in the D'Amico Ryans defense, but I believe that kid can be better because that kid is just a baller. That kid has the IQ. That kid is a workaholic, and he's going to make something shake, man. So I believe that was a great pick as well. Like I said, Nick Caserio has that sweet spot from round 2, day 2, and day 3. So I believe he can possibly, if he's looking at Luke McCaffrey, I believe it's something that he believes this kid can bring to the table. And like I said, the dad didn't disappoint. The brother didn't disappoint. And I don't believe the younger brother would disappoint as well, especially in a Bobby Sloyd offense, man. Put that kid in the slot, the dude just gets open. So I'm loving what the Houston Texans are doing. These are some suggestions via the trade, via free agency, and via the draft that I think the Houston Texans is taking serious looks at, and that could be a Houston Texans. And mark my word, I need y'all to let me know, hey, if I'm right, I'm right, baby. All right, you know what I'm saying? I was on point. They're going to be like, that guy was on point. But I appreciate y'all joining me. I'm your Dreadhead host, Hot Topic TB. It's been real chopping it up with you, cussing and discussing. Let me know in the comments what you think about Luke McCaffrey coming to the Houston Texans. What you think about Chris Godwin? What you think about Stephen Diggs, man? What you think about the suggestions that I think the Houston Texans should have an eye or an ear to the streets on, H-Town? It's been real, baby. And peace.
Texans! Win on two, 1-2.